Hello and welcome to the Low Level Boss YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about the best games of 2016.
Why are we outside?
Let's start off on this list with Dark Souls 3. Now, you and I didn't play it, but our buddy Andrew played it, and he gave us enough information about it.
Right, yeah.
The reason why a lot of people like Dark Souls 3 is it kind of calls back to Dark Souls 1. It feels more like Dark Souls 1 than Dark Souls 2 did.
Right.
Which is good. You can kind of they tested the waters with some ideas, and then they come back and it feels like a legitimate Dark Souls game.
Right, yeah.
So I think that's why people really enjoyed it. It was just it was familiar. It was just pretty much the same, but, a new area to explore. And so I think that was a good send-off for that series because I think that's the last of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably going to focus more on Bloodborne and maybe a new IP. Maybe they'll come out with something like that. So that'll be kind of cool. Next up is a personal favorite of mine. It's basically what No Man's Sky was supposed to be, but in 2D form, and that is Starbound. The creators of Terraria made this. You're just like a little character that goes from planet to planet, building a base, building up your ship. And I first started playing the beta, I think it was when it first came out, 2013? 2013?
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, we were living in that house back
Oh,
then.
wow, yeah. Jeez.
So, and it was great then. It was just very light. You can tell that it was still being worked on a lot, and they really improved it. There was so much added to it, and it was so easy to play. Because when you have crafting games like that, it's hard to get it across on how to actually play the game.
Right, yeah.
So the good things about the game were it was the ease of use. There was a lot of crafting. There was a lot of building, a lot of customization you can do to your bases. And you can explore the galaxy. And each planet actually had stuff on it, and that's what people were saying why it was what No Man's Sky was trying to be, but in 2D form.
Right, yeah.
So. And one I played a lot, and I think you said you would have hated to play, was Stardew Valley. The farming simulator
you
game.
mean Farmville.
It's not Farm... God. But I love Stardew Valley because it was just a good casual game. You could sit there and play it, just relax, and there was no ticking clock element you have in other games. You're not trying to save the world. You don't have a deadline to pay off your farm or anything like that. You just farm or you fish or do whatever. And it's a good relaxation game. Some people call it too casual or too comfy, but I really enjoyed it.
Been compared to Harvest Moon?
Yes. The early Harvest Moons. It's directly or pretty much inspired by the old Harvest Moons.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I heard that's a very... Wait. There's still another one I'm thinking of. Animal something?
Animal Crossing?
Yeah, or is that different?
No, it's too different.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking of the whole peaceful element of, just nice thing to do.
Yeah, it's along those lines of it's just a game you play, you don't worry about it too much. So I guess you can see how the simulators are there. But I put, 40 hours into that game, maybe more. And a lot of people put hundreds and hundreds into it.
Right, yeah.
So we got to get at least one multiplayer game in here. And
Right.
This is the one that you played, I played. I think everyone from Low Level Boss has played.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Overwatch.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny because, again, like I've said a million times, I'm not really a gamer. And you think this isn't the type of game even that I would play, but it sucked me in.
Well, see, I got burned out to arena-based shooters, but this one feels like it does it differently enough. Like, everybody has their role. You're not just all shooting each other. You can actually, if you're not that good at shooting, you might be some sort of support character.
Right.
And so it took the good aspects of MOBAs, which I usually don't like, and it took those different roles that you can play and put them into a first-person shooter. And so that's why I think a lot of people are loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're done with, other shooters where it just feels very bland and like you're not actually doing anything. This one you feel like you're part of a team. You're actually
it's interesting
contributing.
Because I'm not even sure how I got into it in the first place because my brother and sister have always been into TF2 and for some reason I was just never interested. So I'm not even sure if one of you guys did one of you guys buy it for me or something and
I don't know.
I think we just kind of
pressured you.
I probably got a sale and I just played and I just ended up falling in love with it. Now, would you say or have you played TF2?
Yes.
Would you say it had it's just fairly different enough that it's just its own complete game?
Yeah, it's it is way different than TF2 in a way, because TF2 you do have those varied characters. Like each role or each class basically plays differently.
Right. Yeah.
And you do have that, but I didn't feel like in TF2 you were part of a team. Like you had to have certain. Yeah, I think it is very similar to TF2 because they do have every role or class does feel different and plays differently. and you are in a different part of the battlefield, or you have a different tactic.
Right.
But I think what TF2 didn't do was you didn't have that team composition. It just everybody kind of picked their character. It was no big deal.
Oh, okay, I see.
Whereas in Overwatch, you need to have that composition. You can't have all one character, because
unless you're going for a very specific thing, like
if
they're
you,
just fun little.
If you rush, you can do it, but that's also a tactic, kind of a dirty tactic.
But I mean, like a challenge type of thing, like all who's the gorilla?
Well, I did like it how they have where everybody can only pick like maybe one of 3 characters, or everybody's one character. But in an actual game, like just a regular match, you had to have that composition.
Right. No, of course.
Because otherwise your team will kind of fail.
But I mean, like again, what is the gorilla's name? I can't remember. Winston. Like one side is all Winstons, the other side is all Winstons, just to have a fun dumb match.
Yeah. Well, you can have that on any game, but
right.
But overall, yeah, that kind of revitalized like FPSs for me, because I just don't like that rinse and repeat. But for some reason, games like Overwatch and Rocket League, they really stress the whole team effort.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. And so for our number 1 game you haven't played, but I played and it was amazing.
And I'm dying to play it.
Was Doom 2016 or Doom 4, whatever you want to call it. It was just fucking Doom. Yeah, it just this game, it felt like a classic FPS. It felt like a Doom game, but it felt updated. It didn't feel like outdated or anything like that.
Like it was like literally the classic Doom brought into 2016.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like what would have been made if they had all the technology now back then.
Right, yeah.
Or the knowledge as well.
Yeah.
And so that did really well, because the classic Doom players, the people that have been playing Doom for like however long, they had their game. This was made for them too, but it was also made for new players that didn't play the other Doom games.
Right.
So it's easily accessible. You can just come in and play. That's probably why they called it Doom, not Doom 4 or anything like that.
Right, yeah.
It's just a fresh start.
Right, yeah.
And so I think having that classic game, but a fresh start for that game, was great. And that's why it hit on so many different levels of why it was great. And the soundtrack, the sound design, the textures are great. It's a huge game. It takes forever to download.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, because there's so much detail put in these worlds.
Probably going to have to get a new computer before I'm
Yeah,
able to play
maybe.
it. Not just that, because the graphics card is good. It's the processor that I need to update.
Yeah. Okay, now this list is mostly a best of, or our favorite, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to give a couple mentions to the most disappointing ones.
The most disappointing. Not necessarily the worst, just the most disappointing.
Yeah, we have 2 examples of games that we want to say are disappointing, because there is a good structure there. The base of the game is there. It's so shallow. There's nothing that they've added on top of that.
Not only that, but it was overhyped so much.
Oh, yeah, both of these titles.
That, we really...
Wonder if they can guess.
Without the hype, I may have enjoyed both of them.
Yeah.
Well, price, but...
Yeah, no, the price is the big part of it. Okay. You guys probably already know what it is, but we're going to start with the second one, and then we'll go to the first one. The second one is The Division, or Tom Clancy's The Division. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah, he died a long time ago.
So sad. No, so...
I'm glad he didn't see this. Poor Tom Clancy.
Right?
They took his name and they shat on it.
I've never played Rainbow Six. I'd like to try those. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I heard it was good.
No,
not the new one, not Siege.
Really?
Oh,
it's on
it
sale
looks
right
kind
now.
of... Fuck it.
No, the Division, I was really excited for it. Looked like fun gameplay. I liked the whole idea that it was a mixture of multiplayer and
in a campaign, all
right,
kind of wrapped into one.
all at the same time.
Well, because a lot of games are trying to do that, where the single player and multiplayer, it's seamless. Like you just pop in the game and you're playing.
Yeah.
And so if you want to go to the multiplayer area, you physically have to go to the dark zone. And
that,
so that's
is
kind
of cool. Yeah.
Because that makes it makes you be immersed in the game a little bit more.
Right. Yeah.
Because you don't have a menu screen, you're actually just going through a door, and so you kind of get lost in that game.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that games are doing that now. But the problem with The Division is the world feels empty.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while you come across some like enemies and stuff, but it feels like there's nothing to do. There's a bunch of collectibles, like it's a little bit of a collectathon.
Yeah.
But I really don't care for it.
And it's very explorable. I mean, the attention to detail they put in there was whatever word means huge.
Vast, deep, yeah. No, but yeah, because you can go to this school, and you see the school is quarantined off. And there's a mission in there to I think for the radioactive, I don't
Yeah.
even remember how the gameplay.
But it's like,
works,
yeah, it's got like
mechanics,
cool like storylines that you don't really have to come across, but you could read, and like some really dark ones, and
yeah, but
like the school you mentioned.
but it's just a grind fest. That's the issue. 'Cause
Right.
I would love to just explore these places.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there's really no
At-
reason to
at
do so.
Points you just gotta get annoyed by going back and forth and fighting the same enemies over and over again when you're just
Yeah.
trying to explore. Or
Yeah. Or no, these enemies are tougher now. You get more.
oh god, yeah. I think what was most disappointing to me about it was, I especially didn't have that much money this year, and $60 is actually quite a lot of money.
That is the issue.
At least for me. So when I spent that, I regret it. And this was before Steam, I think, was doing the refunds.
They do refunds, but if you play more than 2 hours, because the
And I
first 2
played
hours,
a lot of it.
like if you play 2 hours of the Division, you think, oh, well, okay, this is great. Like that first cutscene got me into it.
Right.
And yeah, it's just the first 2 hours. You feel okay, like, okay, I'm working towards something, but then you realize how much of a grind.
But also another thing that I do want to add is that we all wanted to play together, obviously, but of course we all have our lives. We can't all play at the same. So a lot of those hours played are by ourselves. The game isn't that fun by yourself, and it's really difficult. Sometimes there's things you just can't do. You have to have your friends on, but you just can't get them on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we all level differently, so we
so
sometimes
even if we were
couldn't
online
play the
together,
same missions.
we couldn't do that.
Either one guy was overpowered, and everybody else couldn't do shit.
Oh, I remember that.
So it was pretty much unplayable unless you were all leveling up together.
Yeah.
But when you
And
all
you're
have
not,
lives,
you're not going to make multiple characters because there's no use for it.
Yeah.
You can switch your skill points, your skill trees, and all that. So it's not like, oh, I'll have a character when I play with them and my own character.
Right. Yeah.
There's really no use for it.
Yeah.
It's just you want to level up to the max level as quickly as possible, so that way you can start getting the better gear, and then your gear defines your level essentially.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it just turned into another grind fest.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not an MMO. It has the grind of one, and the top number one most disappointing game of all time. No Man's Sky, obviously. Like there's no way you could have gotten away from it. I mean, they're having lawsuits from advertising agencies and stuff like that. The problem is, again, the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
The first 2 hours of No Man's Sky are the best gameplay I've played in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Some people were having issues with their hardware or just like the performance.
Right.
But I was mostly okay, so I kind of skipped that for some reason because PC
Yeah.
got really screwed, but mine was okay for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But the first 2 hours, you're just like you're building, you fix up your ship, and then you take off from one planet and you go into another, and I've played nothing like that before.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And then that third hour, you go, holy shit, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then it's because we're making this this list after the Foundation update.
Oh
The
yeah.
Foundation update is good and bad. It's actually a really good update. It's a good step in the right direction. And when I was playing it, I was like, I'm having fun. Why am I having fun? Oh, I have these objectives to help build my base. I need to go to this planet to get this resource so I can learn how to craft glass to make, glass walls in my buildings. And it was great. And then that runs out so fucking quick. And so it's like I saw this glimmer of hope that No Man's Sky could be with objectives, things to go do. Because you have these characters that give them to you, and they change things enough to where it's actually getting better. And then that runs out really quick.
Oh yeah.
I think within the
it.
week, and that's not even a week of hardcore playing either. And so it's just like, again, this game has the base mechanics. It has the universe literally that you can play in, but there's nothing in it. There's monuments. There's some there's space stations. There's some trading posts, stuff like that. But they're all cookie cutter. There's no reason to go from one to another.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, cool. I mean, the base building is awesome, but there's nothing to put in your base, really, other than farming. And that takes out the exploration, so you're just kind of a hermit, and you're just like, okay.
Right, yeah.
But
Ooh,
hopefully they
farming.
can fix it.
It could be Farmville, just like Stardew Valley. Saying this, knowing that in Minecraft, I am the farmer. As one of the honorable mentions, if you want to add some more later, though, is it kind of fits on both the best and kind of disappointing is Killing Floor 2.
Yeah.
Because it's based on one of my favorite games of all time. Well, I mean, the sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. But the reason it's disappointing is because it was been in, what do you call it?
Development hell.
Yeah.
Or like
AE,
the open beta.
what's it, something access, early access, hell, or was it limbo? Early access limbo for way too long. Then again, you mentioned, was it
Starbound was in, you know, Starbound was in beta for a while, but I don't remember it being like, now it's released. It was just like, oh, here, we're just kind of testing out ideas.
Right.
And then when it had its full release, I think it was probably diminished by the open beta, but it was still a great game. Like, it felt like a complete game when it came out.
Right. Well, it's like Killing Floor 2, their whole idea was they were going to, when it was released into early access, it was a completed game and everything.
Yeah.
But it didn't have it, so they were going to, but it took way too long to release it. Once they released it, I didn't even know. All of a sudden, I just saw a Facebook post.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no fanfare.
oh, that was kind of a dud. I mean,
yeah.
It's probably a great game. I'm going to go back and play it eventually. It's one of my, it's a
yeah,
fun
but
game.
that can hurt you because if you don't have enough people playing at once, you don't want to play it.
Right.
Because your pool, it'll either take too long to get a game going, or you'll keep playing the same people over and over again, and you might want to play a different pool of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could really hurt it. And if it hurts it enough, they shut down their servers and all that.
Right.
All right, so that was our list of the best games and a couple of the most disappointing ones, and a bit of an honorable mention by you that's kind of in both camps, right in the middle. So if you want to see any more of our content, please check out our channel. We talk about movies, games, and other just kind of nerdy stuff, so be sure to go there. You can also check out our website at LowLevelBoss.com. We came out here.
Why do people ever record outside?
We came out here, and it was quiet as hell. And then as soon as we stepped out, a car alarm goes off. There's sirens.